TIFU by telling him to grow up. I, 18F, had been crushing on a guy, 18 meters, for about 6 months. He goes to my college and I added him on Snap. We started to text but he's very bad at replying to people and takes at least 3 to 5 days to reply to a message and this really annoyed me. He has also been leading me on slightly by flirting with me every now and then. He called me gorgeous but told my friend he said it to help aid my character more because he wasn't sure if he liked me or not. He found out that I like him through his friend and has known for about 3 months, but never brought it up to me so I didn't know he knew. Fast forward to now, I messaged him and said that he's giving me mixed signals and that he's confusing me because he flirts with me, then leaves me undelivered for several days. I said that he needs to grow up and start replying to people or he's going to hurt people and confuse them like he's done to me. I then asked if he liked me and he replied with, "I find you canny and nice, but I'm too inconsistent to date anyone and would be useless in a relationship, plus I plan on being single forever and ever, amen. That way I can live in a man cave that I clean out once a decade and eat my body weight in food every day." I feel like he thinks this is all a joke and I don't know how to react. My friends say that he doesn't put effort into anything and that he's not good for friendship, never mind a relationship. He said that he still wants to hang out and that he'll turn up at some point this week if he has time. This is the first proper crush I've ever had and I'm very hurt. My friends say that I'm being crazy and delusional and I'm starting to think they are right. TIFU by rating myself a 2.5 in terms of attractiveness. You know those videos where they approach people in public and ask you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, someone was filming one of those videos and approached me and my husband and asked us to rate ourselves. We were playing Pokemon Go earlier in the day in a busy part of the city so we decided to spend the rest of the day there walking around and shopping and had planned to get dinner later. Husband was asked first. He's a pretty confident guy, and extremely handsome. He rated himself an 8.5, which I think is accurate. Actually I think he's even a 9.5. Then I was asked to rate myself. I gave myself a very honest 2.5. I know what I look like. I don't hate myself and I don't have confidence issues. I know how the rating scale works. 5 is average. I know what flaws I have and what makes me not conventionally attractive. I've seen r/True Radim in a lot of these rate yourself videos and I know where I fall on the scale and I am totally fine with it. Well, my poor husband. This really hurt him. He objected, and hyped me up during filming, but then he awkwardly pulled me aside and tried to find a private part of the street after they were done filming us. He was nearly crying. There we were, in a public street, in a busy touristy city, my sweet husband with tears in his eyes and holding my hands and cradling my face saying that it broke his heart seeing me think of myself this way. I kept explaining that I don't hate myself and I don't have confidence issues, I just simply don't equate my self-worth to my appearance. I'm happy with who I am even though I am unattractive. But my husband kept objecting and saying how stunning and beautiful I am and how much he loves me. He asked me how I can love him if I don't love myself. He was just so sad and asked me, "Don't you feel beautiful and worthy when we make love? Don't you feel beautiful when you put on your cute clothes?" We talked for a few minutes. I don't want to keep typing and make this post longer than it is, but you get the idea. I kept reassuring him I love him and I'm secure in our relationship and I don't have confidence issues. I didn't know what else to do or say. The rest of the night was awkward, mood was dampened. We cancelled our dinner reservations and just went home and showered separately, didn't say much to each other. He went to sleep a couple hours ago but here I am still awake. So, yeah, I should have just lied and rated myself higher. TIFU by leaving a sweat stain in the girl I hooked up with's bed. I am an incredibly hot sleeper, and multiple times I removed her duvet from off of me, but when we went to sleep I slept with my arm under her head and her leg over my leg and since she was covered up that one thigh was also covered. I slept the entirety of the night like that and when I woke up my thigh was soaked in sweat so bad that I literally thought I wet the bed but my shorts were dry. So I moved over to try and let the sheets dry but now I look at the spot I was in and it's a tan color. I have never slept on white sheets before and I use lotion and other body products that I feel could have made this stain even more pigmented than just body oils and sweat. Either way she is still asleep and I don't know how to tell her I left a sweat stain on her white bed and soaked through her duvet. TIFU by buying my husband's lunch. So this was actually yesterday. We left my husband's car at my work Friday night and went to pick it up yesterday. On our way home, we were going to stop for lunch, but our daughter ended up falling asleep, so we decided to just go through the drive-thru. He followed me there, and we each went through the drive-thru. Since my daughter was asleep in the back, I had my rearview mirror angled down so I could keep an eye on her. I ordered my food, and when I got up to the window realized I should just go ahead and pay for his too, so I told the cashier I wanted to pay for the truck behind me as well. And I got an idea. My husband gets super embarrassed really easily, and this cashier has no idea that I'm paying for my husband's food. So I asked her to give him a message for me too. I asked her to tell him I must be a beaver because I'm dying for his wood. She thought it was pretty funny, seemed a little unsure on if she would get in trouble, but ultimately told me she would give him the message. I was chuckling the whole way home thinking how embarrassed my husband would get by my antics. When we both made it home, he was acting completely normal, no response at all. So I asked him what he thought of my little joke and he genuinely had no idea what I meant. I was bummed and told him that when I paid for his food I asked the cashier to give him a cheesy pickup line from me. Then he tells me he wasn't the one behind me. Somewhere in the trip another truck got between us and got into the drive-thru with us. I'm so mortified. TIFU by laying an egg during the deed. Obligatory. This didn't happen today. I actually posted this 4 years ago, but decided since the community is much larger now, more people might enjoy this story. TIFU by laying an egg during sex. Backstory: my BF and I have been experimenting with new toys lately. We bought some Tenga eggs BC. He has an issue with sensation. Some kind of mental block due to past traumas. I thought maybe they would help by increasing sensation and distracting his wandering mind. We had tried the egg a few different ways, and I had looked up some corn vids to get ideas of different things. I saw one particular video showing a couple having POV with a Tenga egg on the penis. I thought it might be a bit difficult to get it due to my small size, medical condition, but figured we'd give it a go. After a bit of fumbling and slipping, with tons of lube, we finally get it in. It's staying at the base and doing just fine. He says it's a bit too tight, but we keep going in hopes that my muscles will let up a bit as they usually do. He's getting a good rhythm going and we hear a kind of popping/slurp sound. I think, oh great, we just ripped it. So we stopped to inspect it. I looked at his dick and the Tenga egg wasn't there. I started feeling around in the sheets to see where this thing slipped to. Can't find it. Suddenly we both looked at each other. The same thought crossed both of our minds. Is it? Oh God. I stick a finger inside myself to see if I can feel it. Nothing. It must be way up there. I get up onto my knees. He's intently staring at me at this point, freaking out. I'm totally calm because, as a female who has used menstrual cups, I know anything that goes in can come out with enough effort. I start to bear down, and feel some pressure. Yep, it's definitely in there. I stick my finger in again and bear down. I feel the smooth side, but can't locate the hole. It had flipped onto its side. I continue to bear down and attempt to turn it. I finally caught my finger on the rim and slowly pulled it out. When it came out it made a loud slurp sound and flopped onto the bed. All while he was looking on in horror. I immediately started laughing my ass off. It took us about 10 minutes to collect ourselves. I tossed the egg into the sink so that we could wash it later. We then finished off where we started, sans Tenga egg. Later when we were getting into the shower, he grabbed the egg and handed it to me. He said don't leave your child unattended. We now refer to it as our child.